Hey everyone, this is Francesca from Adorned with Grace. And so this is the look that we are going to be demonstrating today. If you happen to like it, know that it was inspired by a look out of this book called Asian Faces, and it was one that I based a lot of my colors on when I first started Adorned with Grace. And the one we're going to specifically look at is called The Sweet Life. So hopefully you can tune in with us and watch as we go through step by step how to get this look. All right, I am ready to start. I have already primed my face, done all my skincare, and the first thing I'm going to start with is my foundation. And as always, I wear my Grace 4.0. Now, if I get a little bit more sun this summer, which I do try to stay out of as much as I can, I might have to go and mix a little bit with 4.5, but for now, we're doing good on 4.0. Today, since I want just a lighter coverage, I'm just going to be hanging out with my family later, so nothing, I don't think we're going to be taking photographs and such. So I'm going to use my dual fiber brush. And this is one that you just dab on like that. And then I just tap, because my skin's actually feeling pretty good and looking good. So I don't feel like I need a whole lot. I just want something of an even canvas when I do this look. Oh, I feel something. Okay, so I think that's mostly good. I may do just one more pass, and I'll inspect it a little bit in my mirror. I could not find my mirror. I was late getting started, and it seems like, when you're running late, it seems like that's when everything always, starts happening. But luckily I found another mirror, and I like it better because it's one that I got as a present. It says B on it. Truly awesome. So I think it was just trying to remind me. So just remember those times in life when it seems like things aren't going your way. Sometimes there's a message in it. Okay, let me see how this looks. Okay, that's pretty good. And even though I know I have pretty dark circles, but I'm not too concerned about that today. Sometimes I just deal with, I don't want to call them imperfections, but just my own unique traits that my face has. Okay, now I actually experimented this. When they talk about, like when you're doing your YouTube channel, it's actually good to practice. That way you don't feel, because I know sometimes I'll just have like one of those like brain, numbing moments and I can't remember what I'm going to say. But this one, it's more for practice just to see if it even looks like what I want to. Because I have the book, where it has you use specific colors, but when I actually try it on, it doesn't look quite exactly like I want it to. It's almost like, it still looks the same as like something else that we've done. So to make it different, I was able to figure out, well, how can I make it different so it looks like something different and, something that's a little bit more colorful with some more pop. Because the color that we're going to use mainly is this color, for eyeshadow anyway, is Compassion. And this color was inspired by this page from the Asian Faces book. Now, I didn't get quite as pink. I believe mine stayed more brownish, which I do like because by itself, this looks great. Just for every day, you can probably even wear it to work. It has a little bit of sparkle. But to get it a little bit closer to what I have it in the book, I'm going to use a blush that is very cool toned, and it's called Vivid. I believe I have used it before. I may have used it, I think I used it for like putting on for like my lip color, because a lot of times I prefer to use my lip color as like my lip balm and then one of my blush colors, because, and I've probably said this before, but all my blush colors, all my bronzers, they're all lip safe. And that way you can coordinate you can coordinate it with the blush and cheeks. So I know one of my things that I want to do in the future is I would like to do one that's like a balm. I haven't decided if I want to get that's going to be a stick or one that's like in a pot like this, but it'll feel more like a balm. But more on that. Right now I'm just trying to focus on doing some education because I do want to show everybody how to use these minerals correctly. Okay, so what we're going to do first is, I learned that it's better to go ahead and put the blush on first, having that bright. Now I'm going to swatch this for you guys just so you can see how bright and pink and cool it is. So let's see if you can see this pretty well. So yeah, that actually looks pretty scary. Like if it were a blush, you know, you definitely would need a smaller dual fiber brush to put it on. But for this one, and it may look scary putting on, but don't be scared. At least, and that's also what I'm telling myself, because I mean, there are definitely looks that you can do where you use this color bright of a pink, but just nothing that I personally would wear during the daytime. Okay, so let's see. I want to get close enough where you guys can see it. I'm gonna put it just on my lid, and this is only one color that we're wearing, so it's not going to be quite all over the lid. I am going to go a little bit past my crease here, and I just dab it on because I don't want to put on too much. And you can already see it looks kind of scary, doesn't it? But I promise we will make it look better. All right, and then it may not look perfectly even, but we will do some blending on that. But that's what that looks like. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other side. Okay, let me do this so you all can see better. And I just dab it on. As you can see, there's the roll method. And that might actually work. This is a pretty pigmented blush. Okay. Yeah, that's very bright. I'm not used to that, but once you see how this will look with the compassion over it. Okay, so let me give you a refresher. This is what compassion looks like, and just for fun, I will swatch it for you guys so you can see what it looks like next to the vivid. Okay, so let's see if I can get this. I don't want to spill too much. Okay, well, I'll just deal with it. I'm just going to swatch it here, and you can see how much browner and neutral it is. And by itself, it looks great if you just want something more natural, and if you are more neutral and cooler tone. And, you know, it actually works for me. I consider myself to be on the warm and golden as well. It's one of those colors that makes your eyes pop a little bit just because it's different from your skin tone. Okay, so this one I will do the swirl and tap. And same thing, we're just going to put it over, and you'll see how it changes. There you go. Not so scary looking now, but it's still nice and bright. Okay. Okay, so you see the big difference? But if you had it by itself, it would look more like this one. And so this gives it a little bit more character if you want to match what is in the book a little bit more. So now we can do the other side. Okay, I think that covers them both. So I think now they're looking a little bit more even. Maybe just do hair more over here. Okay, there we go. So if this still seems a little bit bright for some of you all, we can take our flat top, and you can even go over it a little bit with your foundation if you want to, just to tone it down if you feel like it needs it. I don't think it needs it too much, but you know, just for blending. That's what we're gonna do. And it'll look much better too once you put your eyeliner on. And what we're gonna do for the eyeliner, the other times I have used my eye color mixing medium. Today I may hold off on it. The times that I've done it, it seems like it gets where it gets harder to blend, and I want this to be more of a blended soft look. So as you can see, this is Tenacious, and if you would like, I'll also swatch this one for you. I'm going to try to get in the habit of it just so you see what kind of colors that I'm using. So you don't have to buy my eye colors, but if you have something similar to what I'm using, that would be good. Okay, so next to all that, let's see. It's a nice dark brown, but it'll look much softer than, much deeper once I put it on my eyes. Okay, so let me do that and just put it on. And you see, this is the kind of brush I'm using. It's like an angled brush, And so when I start putting it on my eyes, I start with this side like on matte, and that way you can just kind of go in. I think that's that's how I've been doing it anyway. Do a little bit of tap. And so this one, instead of trying to do a swipe like if I did with the mixing medium, I actually just press it into my eyelashes. And let's see if I can do this way and show you guys. And maybe I can get closer just so you have a bit of a better view. But I just press it in like that. Okay. I may not have used enough, so let me get a little bit more. And this might be the case. I may have to put just a little bit of mixing medium on there so you can see it a little bit better. Actually, I think that's good. And I'll show you another trick that I do. Okay, I don't know if you can see the difference. Let me do the other eye, and then I think you'll be able to see the difference. It's hard to see, I think, in the camera at times just because of the lights, and they wash them out maybe. But it's definitely very bright on what I'm looking at. I do like how the eye color is. You can really see that one. Okay, so this one, I just press it in very close to my lash line. And I'm actually not going all the way across. They say if you want your eyes to look a little bit bigger, maybe stop either like kind of maybe midway or all the way, depending on your eye shape. I think if you, like when you line your entire eye, they say it can close your eye up, and we don't want that. We want our eyes to look brighter, and especially if you're more mature, your eye starts, for some reason, it's shrinking down, and you want to be able to open and brighten your eyes up. Okay, so I've got more eyeshadow on there, so let's do a little bit more. And to me, it is better if you don't rush it and you just do a little bit at a time, if you're especially wanting a soft, natural look. And that is me. Every now and then, let me see, maybe one day we'll do something a little bit more transformative, but this is really my lane, and if you're watching, it probably is too. That's maybe why you like watching me. Okay, now, and if you want to, you can do your lower lashes as well. And this is one I will definitely want to blend. I always try to connect those two. Because like for me, going under the eyes, it's tricky. I don't know if you guys have the same problem. But yeah, okay. And then to blend it, I like to use my round contour. Let me just do this with my eyes. It does smoke out a little bit there, which I like. I don't really like the harsh eyeliner where you just have like a really thin, rigid, hard line, at least for me. Okay, so I have to worry about getting some fallout here to whisk that away. Okay, and then I do want to add just a little bit more. I lost some of my eyeshadow here, my eyeshadow eyeliner. So that is why Adorned with Grace, you'll see on the labels I put on their eye color, because I don't like to limit it to just being eyeshadow. Okay, so that's that look there. Okay. Oh, and you know what? I meant to get the one that I normally use for my eyebrows, but I think this one will work. I just have to use it like in small amounts, because this to me is a little bit dark, but I think if I just brush it on lightly, it can work. And then I may have to blend it out just a little bit. Yeah, that's definitely darker than what I'm used to, but I think on camera it looks okay. I just don't want to stop filming. I'm trying to do this in much real time as I can, because I don't want to have to stop and, oh, look for it. And if I have problems like I did with my mirror earlier, I don't want to keep the camera and you guys waiting. Okay. Yeah, I think, just a little smudge there. And I do keep my brows natural. It's just easier maintenance for me. And so, but everybody's different. You kind of do what you want to do. So we'll blend that out. Yeah, in person it feels a little bit dark for me, but I guess it's okay here. Uh-oh, I think I shook the camera. I apologize. Okay, then from here, ooh, that really smudged there, didn't it? Somehow. That's why I don't like using the dark. I'll just get this here and smudge that off. So luckily it's just makeup and you can let it come off, and I'll probably just use a little bit of my blush, and not blush, my foundation here, and just dab it on so it's not looking brown. And then I'll use this brush here. It's just a fluffy one, and repair it. So luckily, that's why I did put my foundation a little bit lighter. It's a lot easier to correct when you're doing a look. Okay. And then I do mascara, but I'll do that at the end only because I really want you guys to see how the minerals are. So what we have for the blush, I was thinking I might use a little bit more of the Vivid because the one that I'm using is my favorite color of blush, I think, to wear. And it's called Breathtaking. And you would think that this color may not look so great on my skin, but I think it's one of those universal colors. It may not work for like the darkest skin, but even then, you know, I haven't actually tried it on somebody who has like really dark skin, or I've seen it anyway, and somebody may have bought it and actually liked it. But let me just swatch this one for you to see next to my other colors. But it's like a pinkish, but it does warm up some. And because it warms up, if you want something cooler toned, it may not work so great for you. So we're going to put like the Vivid just as a layer again as well. And it may help to tie the colors together. Okay, so I have my Vivid, and do you see how little I have on there of the Vivid? That's about how much I'm going to use for my brush. So we'll do our tap. Yeah, and it still puts up that amount of minerals. And this one we're just going to put, I think, not quite apples to my cheeks, but just a little bit up there. And I'll just use the camera to see how it's going instead of getting my little mirror out. So forgive me if I'm not making eye contact. I'm looking at myself in my camera picture. Okay, and that's actually pretty bright there, but I do want to soften it, and that's why I'm going to put the Breathtaking blush. But yeah, I think I have this described as like a pink with a touch of peach and some gold shimmer. Okay. So there we go. We have just a little bit on there. I shook it, did that thing, and do the swirl. Oh, yeah, you can see that's why that, like I said, I take these sifters out so that you guys can see the colors as I'm working on them. But ideally, it's better to have the sifter on so that when you do the tap, you only put what you need. And unfortunately, it's putting on way more that I want on the lid. And that's why you're seeing the cloud of smoke. I promise I am trying to follow my own rules when I can. Okay, and then here I do want my mirror so I can go over it. Okay, and I see where I have some of the brightness, and I just soften it that way. And that way it still stays a little darker and still cooler toned. Okay, ta-da. All right, and then as always, I just like to go over it. I think one of the methods that I'm doing this way, because I'm not using any kind of bronzer or contouring, is this is a method of blush that, from what I understand, it started, I think, in the 70s or 80s. It's called blush draping, where you're almost using your blush as a contour. And so mine is going up like that. Not quite a C shape, but just all the way up. But yeah, that's my look. So got an itch. Okay. And then so for the color, it was interesting because I usually like to match my blush to my lip color, but in this instance it's not. So she has some to you using more of a like a rose, and to get something that's dark, I'm actually going to mix two colors again. And for you, you don't have to do all the mixing that I'm doing. I'm just trying to stay as close to the look as I can and just adapting it for like what I have. But you know, if you already have like a rose lip color that you want to wear, these are the two colors I'm going to use. So this one is called Striking. This one is a bronzer, and it just has a browner tone. And then this one's just so bright and cool. But I'm probably going to use mostly, because yesterday when I practiced this, I just used Striking. I didn't use any other color. But we are going to mix a little bit of the Vivid in there, and I think it'll give it just a little bit more pop of color. and it won't be so brown looking, because this one is like a reddish bronze. And that's why I think it would work good with the color of Vivid. So, oh, and let me put on my lip balm first so the minerals have something to stick to. Okay, and the reason why I prefer to do that is that way it doesn't discolor it, because you could put your minerals on first and do the lip balm afterward, but I prefer to do that so that way it doesn't get too discolored. Okay, and then we're going to do some of the striking. So this one you can tap some onto your lid, but I already have some on there, so I can just swirl on there a little bit and then tap that. Okay, and you can see it's nice and dark. Definitely more of a warmer, it's not quite red, but what I'm looking at is like a warm orange red. And I'm going to add just a smidge of the Vivid. So it's just like whatever's left on that brush, and let's see how this looks. I don't know if you see it changing. I can in my mirror, but I can do a little bit more just so you can see. Oh no, I think my dog is about to bark. She hears the birds. So forgive me if you hear that. She's investigating right now. I don't know if I've talked about my dogs before, but I have two. And one of them is a bird hunter. Okay. Oh, now I just need to blot my lips onto, I have a paper towel here. And you can do another layer. So if I were kind of concerned about it lasting a little bit longer, I might do another layer, but just to demonstrate. And that's how that looks. All right, so I've pretty much done everything that I need to. Oh, I take that back. I totally forgot about the part where she says to add a highlighter. So I'm going to use this color called Trusting, and it's one of my other favorite base colors that I have. And it is just like a light neutral, kind of neutral tan brown, and it has some light sparkles in it. And so in the tutorial in the book is she has you put it like on your brow bone. So I'm just going to put, actually, let me use this brush. I'm going to use like this kind of a brush. This is this brush that I have in my store. It is like a large chisel fluff. I don't know how many I have left, but I like to use it for my eyeshadow application. So this one, okay, and I just tap it like along there. And it's just for like highlight. Like that. And then the other highlight is where you would just put it along the top of your cheeks. So I think of it like just along there so that when the sun hits it, but I actually dab it on. I just had to draw it on for you guys. Okay, and do the other side. I don't know if that's quite even, but what I do, I mean, I blend, as you know, anyway. So that's what we're gonna do here. Take my flat top like that and to blend with. And just blend along that. So now all I have to do is put on my mascara, put my hair down, fix it, and I will let you see the final look. And I hope you liked it. Sorry if my hair seems a little bit frizzy, but I didn't really have a whole time. You know, this isn't a hair tutorial anyway, but I will try to do better with having my hair nicer looking. But this is the makeup look, and I am very pleased with how the eyes turned out. They aren't, it seems really bright maybe, but I think it really brightens up my eyes, you know, just having the one color and then a little bit of the highlight. And I even like the mismatched lip color, you know, if you want to say that that's what it is, because I don't think you have to match your blush to your lip. I at least like to try to stay in the same family. And this is actually different families, you know, more rose colored than more peachy pink up here, but I think it still fits fine. And anyway, so that's it, and I hope you'll tune in for our next tutorial. Thank you so much. Bye. I am adorned with grace.